With us right now, we continue with Mike Lauria. Mike is from Pelham Bay. His daughter Donna was the first victim a year or so ago of the .44 caliber killer. You know, we just met today, an hour or so ago, right? And I said my condolences when I first met you, and then we started talking. It became evident to me within 3 minutes, 4 minutes after meeting you, Mike, that you have an enormous bitterness, not just toward the horrible tragedy of losing your daughter, but toward the way your life and your wife's life and your daughter's death have been manipulated by the media. And I'd like you to just take a minute or two to tell us how you see things. Now, we read things in the paper, right? Or we see things broadcast on television. Here's the man who is the news. This is the father. This is the man who reporters sought out, photographers sought out. What are some of the things that have happened to you?
What? Well, you take your newspapers, they misquote everything you say.
What are some specific things, like, for example?
Well, like the Pelham Bay Community Association. One person put in the paper that we were a bunch of vigilantes, which we are not.
Now, vigilante is what, essentially? They're armed men taking law into their own hands.
Right. I was also accused of carrying a weapon, which I don't do.
Now, how did that come about? Somebody said, do you carry a gun, and reporters?
The reporter asked somebody, and somebody told him, I understand. Someone told me that you carry a gun.
And then you say?
I don't. I denied it.
But then you read in the paper?
Then I read in the paper. Then you talk to a newspaper man. You tell him what you're saying is off the record. Pick up the paper the next day. Boom. It's in the paper the way something that was said. But everything has been, a lot of it has been misquoted. I wouldn't say everything. A lot of it has been misquoted. I was talking to a person from, well, I don't know if I should mention the papers. And I told this fellow here, confidence, off the record. And we were talking. Next day I pick up the paper. Everything I said was in the paper, plus my daughter's picture. And I asked them, please don't print the picture.
What happens because of the picture? Your wife, she sees a picture in the paper, as you were saying before,
right.
That sends her into...
She's a total wreck for anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes to a month.
It's like a cue.
It brings everything right back. It's like taking a knife, opening the wound, and pouring salt into it.
And do you have a sense of being hounded unnecessarily?
Sometimes I feel I am. Come home from work and you see a news truck in front of the house. The wife comes home from work and she sees a news truck in front of the house. I mean, I would like to know if they bother the other parents the way they bother me. I mean, give us a little peace of mind. Like there's times my wife is just about relaxing. She'll never forget her.
How can you forget something like that? You can't forget it. You don't try to forget it.
Right. You know, you just...
You have to live with it, I guess.
Simmer down a little bit, and then pick up a paper, somebody saying something, or come home from work, see trucks in front of the house, see people in front of the house taking pictures. I mean, I wish they would put their selves in my shoes and see how they would feel if somebody did it to them.
Is there anything that we can do now in the minutes that we have here? Again, I say, I want this to be an opportunity for you to speak honestly. Just another opportunity to direct yourself to, we have a lot of people out there. A lot of people who there may be one person watching right now who has some suspicion.
Well, if there is, like I said earlier, I wish they would call it in, no matter how small they may think it is. It might be nothing as far as they're concerned. But never think it's small. Call it in.
It could help.
It could help. They may have the right person.
And what about all the people who are calling in with the crank stuff? The people are calling because they want to get more police protection in their neighborhood. They're saying this, that, or the other thing.
Well, you're going to get that all the time.
You can't prevent that.
That's one thing you'll never be able to prevent. I don't think so anyway. You'll always find somebody saying, hey, that guy followed me home. They're going to call the police because everybody is scared. Let's face it. Everybody is scared.
Yeah.
You can't blame them, really. You can't blame them.
How has the atmosphere in your neighborhood, the Pelham Bay area, changed in the last year as a result of this terror?
People are afraid to sit out in front of their building, in front of their houses. Like I explained to you before, we patrol the whole area. And you notice that the people aren't out there like they used to be. In my,
particularly in the summertime, you know, people
right,
usually hang
right.
out.
In my building alone, there usually are women sitting outside. And they don't sit one or two. There's usually a group. But see, my building is about one of the only ones, I believe, where you do see a lot of people out. You go through the whole neighborhood, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, there's nobody in the street. It's very, very desolated.
Have you had any contact with any of the other victims'
No.
parents? No?
No, my wife spoke to one of them for the first time. What the conversation was about, I really couldn't tell you.
Another thing, and I've asked this question to people before, people who've been through tremendous tragedy in their life. Everybody has a different kind of answer. What do you draw upon when you are in a situation that the worst possible thing that could happen seems to have happened? What inner strength or what teachings? Is there any one thing that helped you through the very, very worst period of this time?
My daughter herself. I know how she was. And she wouldn't want my wife and I to go through, you know, just stop living. And this is one thing that helps me because I know how she was. She was a very, very happy-go-lucky girl. Well, really, to believe, you would have had to meet her. And there's an awful lot of people can tell you she was a very, very happy-go-lucky girl. They'll tell you that themselves.
So she has to live on in you.
That's right. That's right. In other words, a lot of people think I should forget. No way. I don't forget her.
No, I don't think you
I
can
don't
try to
forget
forget in a situation like that.
I'll tell you something. I sit there sometimes at night, excuse me, got a cramp. I sit there sometimes at night and I could just see her sitting on the couch, laying on the floor. I do see her. I wait for her to come walking in the door at night. See, these things I don't even tell my wife. I'm telling you, and this is the way I feel. This is what I think is keeping me going also. Aside from the fact of hoping and praying that they catch this guy.
Mike, you're a strong man. You're a very strong man.
A lot of people think that.
You're a very strong man.
Yeah. Outwardly, maybe, but not inwardly.
Well,
Believe
you've
me.
impressed me as being strong both outwardly and inwardly.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we take a break? We'll come back with some of the leaders of the Pelham Bay Community Association and find out how they are directing their energies toward keeping the neighborhood as safe as possible. We'll be right back.